Hi, welcome listeners. I'm Linda Redman of the Northwest, U.S. The information I'm presenting is of utmost importance. Here is the outline summary of this program. 1. I will offer some better quality public service announcements regarding the 2015 ecological priorities according to Self-Existent One. First, to save and probably reestablish as we can the South American forests. If you are wondering who Self-Existent One is, this is the God of Abraham and Sarah, who was opposed to infant sacrifice and human torture, and that is why he directed and assisted the large groups of Israelites returning from captivity in Egypt to clear certain cultural groups. When Moses asked this God, who appeared out of a burning bush near Egypt, "What God are you?" the reply was, "I am that I am." Another title that I have been given to call this God is Self-Existent One. We have valuable guidance from a source that has a much broader perspective than humans. The second thing I'll bring up is that I will read a post from my blog at peacewellness.wordpress.com/2018. I will relay a direct message from Self-Existent One about the 2018 Earth Day priority. It relates to the concern of methane, which is many times worse for trapping heat than carbon dioxide, which also results in huge multiplier effect of heat retention in our atmosphere. I will suggest specific actions and prayers. The third thing on this show, I will be introducing upcoming series on my YouTube channel, Eco Peace Vision. I will be reading 44 key chapters in the Bible that are suggested for us to read by Self-Existent One. I should be able to do 2 to 3 chapters a show. I've already recorded them, but I need to edit them. And I will add some important archaeological findings and other insights to these shows. The third reading in this next upcoming series will relate to reading the entire book of 1 Samuel from the Bible. The rest are various other chapters from the Bible. Okay, so the first thing is, here are some better quality public service announcements for saving the South American rainforest, which was the ecological priority according to Self-Existent One in 2015. I have the better quality ones. 2 of these are posted on my YouTube channel, which is called Eco Peace Vision. There's a space in between each word, so feel free to check those out and forward those to people. I also have 3 slideshows on that channel. The 2 are recent ones that say Bible Studies with Linda and have a lot of slides on there, also with archaeology and etymology of some of the words, the terms in the Bible, like Elohim and the other terms for Self-Existent One, Yeshua. Okay, so here's the first public service announcement for saving the South American rainforest. Consumers can help. Consumers in the world are contributing to South American forest destruction by buying products from these forests. Poor farmers in Bolivia, for example, are reportedly burning down acres every 3 years because the rainforest soil lacks nutrients, so the ash from the forest give them the nutrients to grow crops. In Bolivia, there is 1,158 square miles of rainforest being cleared by different means every year. In Brazil, 3,000 square miles of rainforest was destroyed in 2016. As much as 10,000 square miles was destroyed in 1995. There can be over 10,000 species in each acre. So, there is an incredible amount of species being lost every day in South America. These forests produce vital oxygen and are essential for reducing the carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. All our species are adapted to a specific atmosphere that we need to protect. This is Linda Redman of Blog Talk Radio, and EcoPeace Vision on YouTube. Please make saving South American forests a priority. Here's the next public service announcement for South America rainforests. Help stop Bolivians from burning rainforest land. If you want to save millions of species on the planet and keep the right amount of life-sustaining oxygen in our atmosphere, please prioritize saving the South American forests. We need people to help desperate, hungry Bolivian farmers to come up with a better way to make a living than burning acres of rainforest every few years to enrich the nutrient-poor soil. The publication New Agriculturalist reported in 2013 that Bolivia had been deforesting at the rate of 300,000 hectares or 1,158 square miles a year. This is Linda Redman of Blog Talk Radio and EcoPeace Vision on YouTube. Please make saving South American forests a priority. There's 6 total of these public service announcements. The next one is, we need oxygen for our atmosphere. On July 11, 2016, the National Academy of Science of the U.S. approved a report indicating that the earliest plants, not trees, were the main factor in creating huge amounts of oxygen in our atmosphere. This process was happening 470 million years ago. Fires helped to bring the oxygen level down and stabilize it for life to proliferate on our planet. We need to look into the huge tracts of South American forests that continue to get cleared and burned each year. This is not a good combination. We are allowing millions of species to go extinct, as well as threatening most of the life on our planet by allowing conditions that threaten our perfectly balanced atmosphere. This is Linda Redman of Blog Talk Radio. Please make saving South American forests a priority. The next public service announcement is First Americans from Australia. Poor and desperate farmers in Bolivia continually burn down over 1,000 square miles annually of rainforest for soil nutrients. In 2016, Brazil allowed 3,000 square miles of Amazon to be cleared. Some of this was due to illegal logging, which they could not afford to stop. Some was cleared for cattle and soy industries, so they could pay off their debts. In 2016, there were also 27,814 fires in the Amazon. When we save these forests, we protect our atmospheric oxygen and save millions of valuable species. Can we absorb CO2 and particulates via a fleet of solar-powered drones carrying limestones? Can we hire locals to run study expeditions? Did you know that the first people in South America were black and came from Australia? Did you know they were peace-oriented and had women leaders? Let's not lose the evidence and memory of this important human history. This is Linda Redman of Blog Talk Radio and EcoPeace Vision on YouTube. Please make saving South American forests a priority. The next public service announcement for the priority in 2015, it's still a priority. The title is Fires and Checkerboard Development. Our tropical forests are home to millions, maybe hundreds of millions, of mostly unknown species. Species may vary in different regions. Burning only a few acres could eliminate an entire species. Our rainforests are vital for maintaining our global oxygen supply. Stopping the fires and deforestation in South America forests should be a global priority. One way to protect the forests, oxygen, and species may be to ask for protection of important undiscovered artifacts of the first Americans who were of Australian Aboriginal descent. In 2016, the Amazon rainforest had 27,814 fires. Countries that border the Amazon, like Bolivia, can have poor farmers that have to burn the trees to get nutrients for crops. Perhaps each family wants their own land. A suggestion for wiser development is termed checkerboard development, where several families share 1 acre while leaving the surrounding 5 acres intact. In 2016, 1,158 square miles of rainforest was cleared in Bolivia. 3,000 square miles was cleared in Brazil. Many impoverished countries border the Amazon rainforest. Manga Bay reports that since 1978, 750,000 square kilometers or 289,000 square miles has already been cleared. New roads bring settlers into the middle areas to burn and farm. Solutions will vary for each country. Let's encourage ecotourism to study existing species and search for evidence of the first Americans, who were Black, peace-oriented, and led by women. This is Linda Redman of Blog Talk Radio and Eco Peace Vision on YouTube. Please make saving South American forests a priority. Here's the last one for 2015 ecological priorities, entitled Fires, Checkerboard Development, Ecotourism. The great amounts of fires burning Amazon rainforest acreage is threatening vital levels of oxygen in our atmosphere. Stopping the fires in South American forests should be a global priority. In 2016, the Amazon rainforest had 27,814 fires. It is estimated that in 100 years there will be no rainforest there. Many impoverished countries border the Amazon rainforest. Bolivian farmers survive by burning trees to get nutrients for crops. Brazil earns money to pay their national debt by allowing Russia and China to clear land to grow soy and raise cattle. We don't know if people in the U.S. are ending up buying that meat that they raise. Brazil can't afford to police the illegal tree cutting that goes on in their country. One solution is to encourage checkerboard development, where several families share 1 acre while leaving 5 surrounding acres intact. Farmers could earn money from leading study and photography expeditions. Another solution is to encourage donors to forgive Brazil's debts or help them pay for it by ecotours and other means. Tours could look for important undiscovered artifacts about human history. Did you know the first Americans were of Australian Aboriginal descent? This is Linda Redman of Blog Talk Radio and Eco Peace Vision YouTube channel. Please make saving South American forests a priority. Now, here's an announcement about the 2018 Earth Day priority. It is basically to figure out how to stop the methane domino effect. I'll be reading from my blog, which is on wordpress.com. You can go to peacewellness.wordpress.com/2018 and look for the article that says Self-Existent One says fate of the earth is like a runaway freight train. This article was published on May 3rd of 2018. These are recent messages from Self-Existent One and helpers of Self-Existent One. The key guidance was to pay attention to Venus. A few days later, we heard pay attention to the surface volcanic activity on Venus, that it is paved over with lava, that we need to look at the atmosphere. It is methane and extremely hot. It's trapping the heat in, and it is a cycle that can't be stopped. We also heard that it didn't always look like that it used to have more water than the Earth. Actually, that this was I didn't put all this in the article yet, but I might add it. But that this was where the Atlantean culture was located. So then on May 3rd, 2018, I was researching about the methane domino effect and found these news articles. The first one is from sciencenewsforstudents.org/article/ancient Arctic gas melt triggered enormous seafloor explosions with a hyphen between each word. So that article, let's look at that. It basically says that there are huge chunks of ice that are melting on the floor. They talk about where that's located in the North Ocean that are melting, and they're containing huge amounts of the methane. The next article is called EDF, from edf.org/climate impacts methane emissions, with a hyphen in between each word. And it mentions that methane is more than 100 times more potent at trapping energy than carbon dioxide. So I have a link to those two, where there's more information on those two articles on my blog post. And then the next thing is from sciencenewsforstudents.org. The article it's /article/heat keeps giving, with the hyphen in between those three words. And that points out that one lump of coal that's burned ends up preventing more than 100,000 times the energy it released in the first place from escaping into space. And I think that can be translated to that one lump of coal that's burned prevents more than 100,000 times the heat it released in the first place from escaping into space. So that's one lump of coal, and they're saying the methane is 100 times more potent at trapping energy than carbon dioxide. So take a deep breath, and I knew it was bad, but we're just learning, details from faraway perspective on what are the ecological priorities, what should our life priorities be. We're getting this brought to our attention. So we can pray, we can have our scientists focus their effort, our philanthropists focus their effort. The point is, focus our efforts on our atmosphere, looking at the mix of our atmosphere, planting more trees so we have more oxygen, saving the trees we have. I have another picture added. I was adding stuff. All this isn't on my blog post, but the last few things I said. But now the next thing on my blog post, I show a picture on a YouTube video where the International Space Station took a nice picture of Australia at night, and it shows lots of fires in Australia. So there's another source. That's possibly why, from the perspective of Self-Existent One and friends, that it doesn't look good for us saving our planet. But if we're going to at least ask for guidance and tune in and set our priorities straight, who knows? It could be possible to help save our planet. It's a beautiful planet. Okay, so now when I reflected upon the last findings of looking at the methane, I called my friend who has developed the ability to tune in to and hear higher guidance from Self-Existent One and others not of this planet that are aligned with Self-Existent One. And I looked into it. I believe this is what Edgar Cayce, who was able to help, he gave like 12,000 readings in a sleep state, and because he had read the Bible time after time, starting from age 14, and he sincerely wanted to help people's health. He had a young friend that had died from pneumonia, and that is probably why he wanted to do that. So that's a good story to look into, Edgar Cayce. So that now I'm going to read these statements, the conversation I had with my minister friend who can tune in to Self-Existent One and other. It's called Elohim when you read the Hebrew translation of the Bible, and sometimes that can be translated to angels, but it's like helpers that are aligned with Self-Existent One. So when I reflected to my minister friend about my concerns about when I looked into the methane domino effect, here's what my friend heard. He said, The answer is to continue to recycle and also to incinerate the garbage. Using the incinerators to create electricity, there is a good way to get rid of the garbage. Also, good news about the ministry: delivered 3 different sermons this week to several different groups. It's been great. There's a huge strain on natural resources right now. There is not enough to go around anymore. I asked, won't incineration put more pollution in the air? The resources include things like fish, oil, water, right? The answer was, they recapture the exhaust and burn it. Burning the trash in an electrical generator is the only way it could not go into the environment. God says the destruction of the environment is like a runaway freight train heading downhill with no brakes, full of freight. God says the domino effect of the earth has begun. God said, even if we did everything perfectly today, it still wouldn't stop. God says the earth is past the tipping point. Everything is headed for collapse, and there is no way to stop it until it goes to zero and everything will restart again. God says, just like a runaway freight train heading downhill with no brakes. God says we are in a man-made extinction event, and that the last extinction event reduced the population of everything on the earth by 99%. Only 1% of everything alive made it through last time. Then I said, well, I just gave some prayers and asked some others to also. I just prayed that our scientists and countries of the world can work together to help stop this problem before I heard about the tipping point. Is there a possibility? Wow, not exactly a surprise. Then I heard, this is all news to me. I didn't even think about this until I was feeling to text you this information. You might know more about it than me. Then I said, well, I was working on a lead-in show to the readings and was putting together the 2015 and 2018 public service announcements for Earth Day priorities and looking up about methane, which we heard we should look into. Well, with prayer, we can move mountains. God can move mountains. And then my friend said, evidently, I'm understanding that the Earth is in some type of runaway scenario leading to the collapse of the environment, some type of man-made extinction event. And I wrote, our planet didn't go pole over pole, and North Korea president is now friends and denuclearizing. Yes, this is what the scientists have been predicting. If we didn't get our CO2 down below 350 parts per million, I think, and we didn't. Then he said, God's putting the picture in my mind of trying to stop a freight train running downhill, so it must be pretty bad. And then I texted, wow, okay, but with prayer, maybe there's hope. ? Then he said, then about the tipping point and the domino effect. I hadn't thought about those terms in a while, but evidently they were terms that God tried to help me with what's going on. So then I said, lots of prayer and complete halt of all fossil activities and absorbing CO2 and methane. It's hard even for me to stop my lifestyle. And then my minister friend said, I think God's letting us know we're going to be in for a bumpy ride. I think it just means that there's going to be a frequency and occurrence of natural disasters of all type. God said more wars and more fighting and more heat and less natural resources, and also fighting over the resources that are left. That's the future that we're headed for, fighting for the last scrap of resource until it's all gone. God says once all the natural resources are gone, then the countries start to eat each other and fight for the last remnant. Those are capital letters, the last remnant. Then he said, God said the final victors will inherit the earth devoid of all resources, laid waste and destroyed, completely desolated. This is what the winners will inherit. Victory at all costs, and the cost is the earth and humanity. Then I said, wow, sigh. We talked about this in my studies in the early 1980s. Well, we never got to the end picture as you relayed, just that the future was going to be resource wars. But with prayer is more powerful than leaders who want to fight if the word can get out. Then he said, God said the future can change, but this is the future that we're headed for at this particular time. God said it has to do with the mindset and the thinking of the leaders of the world. Then I said, thanks to God for the insights. So let's pray that the world's leaders' minds are touched and hearts are opened to work to save humanity, to align with God and work for God-aligned world civilization. My minister friend said, I believe the next set of leaders will be a lot more environmentally friendly and aware that the resources of the earth are dwindling fast. There's going to be a push in a consolidation in order to save the last resources. The problem is the developing countries are going to keep on needing resources. This is why it is a runaway problem, because the developing countries will need more. As the leading countries cut back, it won't be enough. Once the world realizes this is happening, it will cause panic. People will lose confidence in money and inflation will skyrocket and cash will lose its value. There will be a stock market crash, the people will lose billions of dollars, and basically within a couple of months the world will go broke because people will not have the confidence in the governments or in the money. This will cause anarchy. People are going to starve in places that have never gone hungry before. Then I said, or I texted, well, we can pray that people prepare in lots of neighborhood greenhouses in the north for community and local food growing, if God is okay with that suggestion. We can pray that everyone with a good heart is protected. So that's it for that blog post on peacewellness.wordpress.com, and you could put /2018 to find that article on runaway freight train. Now for the third thing on my list for this show, I want to introduce the upcoming series. The upcoming series is going to be on my YouTube channel, Eco Peace Vision. The upcoming series is going to be readings from the Bible, specific chapters that Self-Existent One has recommended. And it's a total of 44 chapters, and 28 of them are the book of 1 Samuel. So that'll be interesting. I hope to do 2 or 3 of the chapters each show, and want to say that the list of these suggested readings came to me right after I wondered if the fires around Santa Barbara, California were God's wrath. I had thought many people in the area were not perhaps aware of the possibility of God's existence. I had just visited the area a week before the fires. I was divinely able to connect with no prior notice to a key person in a radio station in the area and receive tips and training to make acceptable public service announcements. I learned from Self-Existent One that the fires were a natural phenomenon. Soon after I wondered about this, on December 9th and 10th of 2017, I was given a list of Bible readings for me to share via radio. Around this time, I had temporarily stopped producing shows on my Blog Talk Radio channel. I might have been wondering what to do next. So these are some possible reasons I was given this list of readings to relay. In February of 2018, it seemed that 1 week I got extra insights related to the first reading, and a week or 2 later I received insights related to the next reading. By early March, I was receiving insights related to the book of Revelation. Apostle John's Revelation is not included in any of these selections, by the way. The last few are about Self-Existent One's love. Basically, it seems like our time is short to pay attention to Self-Existent One and open our eyes to old information, to dust off our family Bibles and look again. Related to the book of Revelation, I just wanted to mention that the tip was, people want to make sure they get their name in the Lamb's Book of Life, and if they don't know what that is, they should look it up in the Bible. I want listeners to know that I have Eco Peace Vision channel. There's a space in between each word on YouTube. And there's an interview with Matthew, who we just heard from, who's a listener of God friend. The Key Bible Readings series I'm going to post on my YouTube channel, Eco Peace Vision,